that this is one of the most important questions that need to be answered. Let's start. Coordinators, can we have the mic? You already have the mic, sir. I have a word when it comes to governments in our regions. They have a huge role to play, not to leave media without giving them information. Media in our region and maybe even in Egypt, the absence of information equals the amount or a lot of rumors in the event itself. So the more there is limited information, there is a lot of rumors without as you wish, as you want. So the absence of information is something that is going to be bad for media, and we will always be facing the same thing here. I'd like to ask a point on the fake news idea, which has now become an international phenomenon. So today, what used to be something for the deficiency of information, which probably was there to defame an institution, today has become a world war between countries and between intelligence entities. We've realized this in the American elections, the final elections, the last elections, and the French as well. And fake news, a lot of fake news, which the purpose of which was to have a lot of other companies be defamed, to end them. So the state, whatever the state would be, and here I have to go back to the starting point, the role of freedom of press in building states when it comes to the ideas of false information that can actually change regimes, because they're unable, because they can't open a war whenever there is it is known that it comes from a specific country to harm that country. The only entity that can actually confront this information, the wrong information, is the free press that is believed inside the state and outside the state. Yesterday there was a referendum, a poll that happened in 4 countries, Britain, United States, France, Brazil, and more than 8,000 individuals were asked about their points of view about this issue of false information, of false news, and 80% of them said that they trust, that their only reference is their media that they know that is trustworthy. 80% said that first they go to paper magazines, to the TV, to radio, and at the end the social media. Although we see that social media has taken the traditional traditional press. Maybe this is not the trust yet. Yes, and it's still to the media that is trusted. If we look around us today, the institutions, a lot of institutions have lost their audience quickly because they were biased to a certain entity, or because they became party that is biased, so they lost this trustworthiness. The audience, we should not undermine their intelligence, we should not undermine there is a number of interventions. We'll start the interventions, and some of them are questions, and then we will come up with recommendations at the end. Dina Salahuddin, Radio Masr. Excuse me, there are some of the individuals who would like to ask the question before even writing them, and also the young people who have written questions, please deliver them to the panelists. Dina Salahuddin, and I'm in Radio Masr. We agree that there is no full freedom in the media, even with the countries that always nag about freedoms. But the question that we need to pose, we're supporting media freedom. How can that occur And how can that be a risk? And my question is to Mr. Steven. I have another question also for Mr. Albert. Let's take one by one, Dina. Mr. Steven.